In the last video, we did a crazy planning of a project together, and in this video, let's continue with the series and program this in the Loxone Config. Hello and servus, my fellow Loxone enthusiasts. I've already turned on the demo cabinet. I have a miniserver in there. I just connected some presence sensor and push button to it, so we can also really connect some devices to it. And I show you great tricks to be super efficient. I typically program and assign all the products for a full house in half a day. And how I do this, you will learn in this video. Basically, you have two options to start this. Either you put all the devices in place, you wire them, you connect the push buttons, presence sensors, speakers and everything to it. And then you jump into the config, go to tree extension, airbase extension and so on. And then you learn in the devices by hand. So you might find from our planning here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 presence sensors here in the config list. Then you click on the first one. You have to be then physically with a laptop here in the entrance area. And then you click through them, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, until you see over your head, this motion sensor starts to blink. And then you can assign this one to the correct room. Or you do it the other way around, which I would recommend to you. You do the planning in the Loxone config. There is a project planning tool included for free, where you can then say, okay, my customer's data, Johnny Loxville. Then you need the postal code. This is used for the geo coordinates. Then you have here your company data in case you're a Loxone partner. Then you can choose the currency, Euro, Austria, Germany with different VATs. Then you also have the option for Great Britain, for pounds, for US dollars and stuff. So check the correct one for you. Then we continue, and then you say the basic controls should be the Loxone Touch, or you could say it should be the Touch Pure, the glass version, the more expensive one, but you can do some rooms like this, others like that. The lighting should be with the Loxone Tree Spot. So let's do a Ferrari right now, make a full, complete Loxone project. And then we say the shading, nano to relay, check the other video. I typically go for centrally wired blinds. Klima control, in case you have underfloor heating, you can select it here. You have the AC controls for split units and stuff. Window and door contacts. Should it be integrated ones inside of the window, invisible, or should it be the Loxone window and door handle on air, wireless, or the wireless contact? Audio, let's go for master client. It's awesome. Dimmer, Loxone dimmer, airbase. Then we might or might not need a grid meter in case you have a photovoltaic system. Then you most likely from Fronius, Huawei and all the others, you typically can read the smart meters data via Modbus TCP network commands, so then you do not need a dedicated Loxone meter in addition, because both would measure the same thing. Presence sensors, should they be surface mounted or should they be flat in the ceiling? I don't know where some names here are in German now. Yeah, I think I know. Damn it, man, because I changed it here to Austrian. And then, yeah, you see, my bad. I go for the Euro price, English, and then I have the English product names. Then we have to put all our rooms in here, and then we would just go like this, okay? Entrance hall, guest bedroom, main living, kitchen area. And there is a basic question you have to ask yourself. Should you make 3 rooms out of here? Living room, dining room, kitchen. Rooms, I mean in the config. Should there be a lighting controller for the living room, a lighting controller for the dining room, for the kitchen, and you have 3 lighting controllers? What if you leave the room, double tap, maybe where have we the push buttons? Here, you double tap here. What should happen? Should everything turn off? Also the living room? Should just the kitchen turn off? So that's a little tricky. If you're interested in the maybe most difficult room in the entire project, the living, dining, kitchen area, then I'm glad to make a dedicated video if you're interested. So we would just go for all the rooms here. There is an outside room as well, and then we also put in the square meters or square foot, depending on the country you live in. This is taken for various calculations, like the flow temperature for underfloor heating. How big is the room which has requirement of temperature? Is it a small room, water closet? Is it a super huge living, dining area and kitchen? you know, just fill it out nicely. Then how many windows and external doors do we have? So we go through the plan. We say in the living room, we have one window here. Here in the guest bedroom, there might be one window here, another one there. So we put 2 in there. We nicely put all of this together. We won't be completely accurate on our planning here now, but let's go for the living room. We have 2 doors here. There is 2 heating zones. This is more for underfloor heating. And then we can open and then we see everything that's planned for us. We have 7 ceiling spots. It takes the quantity automatically, divides the area in square meters by 3, and now take care. Of course, the tool cannot know it 100% how the rooms are shaped. So then you easily change it here, the quantity. Then we also see there is an RGBW LED strip planned, and we can give it a name here. TV effect light. Let's remember this. I'll show you what this does in the config then afterwards. We can freely add outputs on the left hand side. Maybe we have a wall lamp here. Just 230, 110, on off, 0, 1. 1 relay, super cheap. So you can add anything that you have. For the blinds, it calculates 2, that's 4 relays, up, down, up, down. And this comes from the amount of windows and external doors that we added in the overview in the beginning. Klima the same, valve actuator tree, underfloor heating because we said 2 heating circuits. Then we have master plus client. That's interesting. I've actually never done the planning for master client. Is it now taking 1 master plus a client? That would be awesome. Let's check it out in a second. Presence sensors. 1 might be enough for the room, depending on the square meters. Of course, if the room is L-shaped or something, you might need 1 here and 1 there. So please put a little bit of time into it because you spare so much time afterwards. It's crazy. Then we have 2 push buttons because we said there is 2 internal doors. You can, of course, add another one. We have the new remote there. It's awesome. I have it here. I really love it. So this might be on the couch table. Then we have access, nothing in the living room. In the outside area, there might be an intercom, NFC, and so on. Security, smoke detector, window contacts. It takes 2 digital inputs, energy, accessories. Maybe for the accessories or the energy, not sure. Let's take a smart socket also to it. And we use it for a standing lamp, a reading lamp. You know, we just put it in the smart socket and then we can turn it on and off inside of the config. But maybe it's better to have the smart socket here in the lighting tab because then it assigns it automatically to the lighting. I think that's better. And then we go through all the rooms. Let's just go in the outside quick. Then we might see motion sensors with 24 volt because the Loxone ones are not usable outside. I mean, they are IP20, let's say, if there is a roof and it's not fully wet every day because of your climate, then I typically use them outdoor as well if they don't get any direct water. But Loxone, of course, says it's IP20, so take care here. Then we have here the NFC code touch, the intercom, and then we also have the alarm siren, which is super nice. And let's add here in the access also an output, not here, but here in the in and outputs, we can add a digital output 10 ampere, and we call it door opener. To also be able to open the door. This can be a motor lock. This can be this cheap little option I showed you in the other video. So let's go. And then we go through all the rooms. It takes some time. I know, we hate it. We're electricians. We're like, let's go, let's work. But if you do this nicely, then you will see in a second, it's awesome. Then we calculate the power, 14.4 ampere. So Loxone, of course, says, hey, there is our power supply and backup. It has 40 amps. It's super nice. It's 625 euros, I think. So it's on the expensive side, but take care. If you need power for 24 volt lighting, which is awesome, which I love for LED strips, then you might end up with some ampere. And if you have the 10 amp or 20 amp Meanwell power supplies, they are super deep. So typically in the normal cabinets, they are super hard to professionally build them in, let's say. You need DIN rails, which can be mounted further back. The cabinet needs to be bigger. So I love the power supply and backup because it's super slim. It's a normal DIN rail product. And also it has fuses for the 7 channels. If you, for any reason, do not do it, then I would use a dedicated small power supply for just the miniserver and its extensions, another one for the sensors, and another one for all the stuff, the actuators, the light, the LED strips, and so on. Because then in any case, if on the sensor side there is a short circuit, the miniserver is still working and you can control everything inside of the app. Then we finish planning and let's check out the free parts list that we receive. I got it here. Let's go through it. Relay extension 1, airbase, boom, boom, boom. What comes out? 18 or 19,000 euros without VAT. Awesome. You might say, bah, fuck, it's expensive. But no, man, kitchens are expensive. Bathrooms are expensive. And how long do you have a freaking kitchen? 10 years, 20 years? Yeah, maybe 20 years. And how long would you like to have your electrical system? Yeah, for the house life, right? So let's create some awesome value out of it. Functions, features that customers can feel. Automatic shading, perfect room climate, alarm system, audio, text-to-speech, doorbell, block the doorbell when the kids sleep, presence simulation, and so on and so on and so on, right? Then we also see all of this listed as categories. The klima, the valve actuators itself is like 5% of the costs. Then where's the audio or the lighting we have here, LED strips, the Loxone tree spots. Yeah, they are a little expensive, but they are awesome. The pendulum slim, yeah, that's pretty expensive to be honest, but yeah, it's also nice. So we have 5,500 bucks for the lighting, 3.5 for the music. And for the energy, there is a wall box in the planning. This comes from the room outside. If you don't have one, just go through all the rooms and then just delete the wall box if you don't need one. But, of course, electric cars are more and more popular. Then we see it by room, what we have in the bedroom and so on. That's also nice to say, okay, just the garage or just the kitchen, what's the price for it? And maybe the customer, if you're an electrician, I'm talking to you now, if the customer says, yeah, maybe in the ground floor or there is certain rooms I want to do conventionally without Loxone, which I would not, then you could say, okay, but just for an easy solution, light on and off, the Loxone push button, this room would just cost like 300 euros. And if I do it without Loxone, then I still need a push button, I still need some work, and yeah, okay. Then I see the I/O usage, so I can say how many devices are available, how many are spare. And then I can say, for instance, for the relays, there is 2 relay outputs spare. So I could say, yeah, maybe I have something else I would like to control, like the pool pump or something else, where I say, okay, the relay is there. It's on the relay extension, 14 outputs to a spare, use it for free. I mean, the work and stuff, yeah, but for cheap money, let's say. Then I see how much space is required in the main DB, in the cabinet. Then I see in millimeters or breaker units. Then we have the power usage. We see the audio, the peripherals, and how much wattage it needs and how many ampere it's calculated. What's also nice is that you can open this also directly in the Loxone web shops, and then you're not there and like, okay, 27 touch, 17 presence sensors and so on. It's just faster. And now where the magic starts to me is that we can create out of this planning a Loxone config file. We save the planning so we can every time we can go back into the rooms. Customer tells us, yeah, maybe we don't take the color spots in the, I don't know, kids' bedroom. We go for an on-off solution. Then you can go back into the planning, adjust it, and then everything can be done again. And now the software creates a full Loxone file with all the components we just planned. There is an audio server, there is all the speakers that we had, living room, kitchen, there is the master speaker and the client to it. That looks awesome to me. Then we see all the digital inputs, outside presence detection. We see the relay outputs. We have our wall lamp, we have our shading here. Then we have the tree extension with all the push buttons, presence sensors and everything else we planned, the dimmers, weather station, wall box. On the airbase we should find our smart socket for the standing lamp. Everything is inside here. Even the geo coordinates, customer name, Johnny Loxville, the street, I skip for now. Then we have the longitude, latitude, elevation and stuff. And now we could start create our pages because we have the correct rooms here as well, which are no longer completely accurate to this planning. But because not only I'm crazy, but also I'm lazy and I didn't want to make this all by hand for this video. So we then could say we create our first page, we say living room, we assign the room here, then we start using the correct stuff here, put the presence sensor on, push button, enter a lighting controller, blah, blah, blah. Ha! That would be pretty time consuming, so let's not do this. Rather, let's do the auto configuration, which is another awesome tool where we can just say, okay, don't dry your cat in the microwave, you're responsible for the stuff you do, okay? Then we have all the rooms here. We see everything we can control there. Lighting, what happens if we tick it? Configures a lighting controller. Shading, configures automatic shading. Klima, intelligent room controller. Check out the dedicated videos for lighting, klima, and so on the channel. I made some detailed programming videos for those. Then we can say next. Then we have the central functions, comfort functions. Do we need an alarm system? Do we need fire alarm, frost protection, good night, HVAC control? Maybe you don't have HVAC, then you just not use it. Maybe you don't have irrigation, then you don't use it, right? So you go through all of this, then we go configure. Programming is a tough job, man. And then boom, we are there. Then all the rooms are created, all the crazy logic by Loxone itself. Let's go in the living room. What do we have here? You remember from the previous videos, lighting controller, lighting scenes. We have all the outputs. Then we go into the lighting controller. Then we see, there is our effect light TV that we had. Then we have the standing lamp, wall lamp, ceiling lights are the spots, I believe. Here, yes, all the lights. Then we have the remote off. Then we have the door, push button, the other doors, push button, because we said in the planning we have 2 doors, then the remote, then there is a visual doorbell, then there is the brightness from the presence sensor, then there is the presence from the presence block. So you see everything in here is already pre-programmed in a way. And there is some to-dos. Check if the correct temperature sensor has been connected, because we have 2 push buttons in the room. So we use this first door living room, and we can put the filter here automatically. Then we just see the devices in this room. And then we see there is 2 push buttons, this door and the other door. We could label them, of course, door to the hallway, door to the master bedroom, and then we know which one is which. And then we could say, maybe this one is always in the sun. This temperature might not be completely accurate. We take the other one's temperature, or we make average function block in between those here. If you really want. I typically don't do this. Then we go through all the to-dos. We go through the garage. What's there? Please check if the correct meter for the wall box. Okay, bathroom, blah, blah, blah. Then we have central functions like frost protection for the shades, storm protection. If the wind speed on the threshold block is greater than 45, then it goes on a switch off delay for 2,700 seconds. The shading will be blocked until it's below 30 again. Then we have an edge detection, storm protection going on. This goes then here onto the wind alarm of the central shading block, which controls all our shading. So it's crazy. Make sure that the relay we connect there is called then shading north, shading south, shading terrace door, or whatever you call it then. Give it a name. Terrace door. Then we say, okay, terrace up, terrace down, boom, 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 up to up, down to down. Then we need the direction, compass orientation in degree. Maybe it's south, maybe it's not exactly south, maybe not 180, but 170 or something. Make sure to measure it with a compass or with your phone or with the plan. Am I talking too fast this video? I don't know, but this just amazes me every time. Then we need to measure the up and down time from the blind. This is not necessary if you use the Geiger motor air, the shading actuator air, or the Nano 2 relay tree. Then it measures it automatically. Otherwise, you have to go in front of the blind, fully down, measure with your phone, how many seconds, like for every blind, take some time. Then let's go through everything, and then it's super awesome because then we just connect. And then we save in, then we need to make a new password because it takes admin as a standard. Then it says the miniserver does not have the correct serial number. Yes, because in the project serial number is 00000. Then proceed with saving. Then we put all the stuff we just programmed into the miniserver, and then we can web interface to it. And then we see everything we just did in the planning. We have here all the rooms. What we need to do is assign some nice symbols. This would be here in the roomy rooms, here bathroom, edit rooms, and then we add some nice icons here, bathroom. This sucks a little. This would be nice if Loxone just made some suggestions here, but of course, how should they if we make the rooms by ourselves? But maybe in the standard rooms they have would be cool. Then if we save again, then we see at least one room has a nice icon now. Then we can go into the living room. Then we will see everything, the audio, which is not yet fully programmed because the audio server is offline. We have 0 degree because there is no physical touch connected to it. La 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 la. Then we have the lighting controller. There is 2 lighting scenes already, and we can go to more. Then we see our effect light, our wall lamp. Then we see in the relaxing scene just the Loxone spots are on, but maybe the standing lamp should be on as well, right? You can adjust the scenes. There is central stuff, there is alarm system programmed. So it's just super nice to start at this point and not make lighting controllers, connect the touch, connect the outputs, connect the presence sensor, connect this for 10 rooms. No, it's awesome. We just did it like this and we start now. I don't know how long this video is at this point. I appreciate that you're still there. You're awesome. If you like it, consider subscribing and like this video will help me a lot. Much appreciated. And now let me show you how it would look like on site. So we did the planning. According to the planning, we bought the components to our room and stuff. We did the wiring. We connected the tree cables onto the tree extension on some nice terminal blocks, the relays up and down, everything. So everything is connected. We go to site. We just connect to the miniserver as I just did here. We save the program that we planned with the tool inside of the miniserver, and now we start to search and learn devices in. And then, for instance, this dimmer that I find here, and again, if you find more than one, you click through them and then you see what is starting to blink. For the touches, they click. For the presence sensors, they blink. So if you click on the dimmer here, and then we see, that's the one in the living room, the LED strip on the TV stuff starts blinking. Then we click on it here. We do not go onto the plus because then we have another dimmer in the programming, which we don't need because it's already programmed. We see it here, living room effect light. Then we click on the living room effect light and then we use this arrow here to assign it, okay? For the touch pure, it's a bit unfortunate because we planned normal touches. So here I just say couch, in the room, living room, and then I learned this one now in as a new device. But again here, if it would have been a normal touch, a plastic touch, or if I did in the planning the proper one, if the customer wanted a pure touch, then I should have planned a pure touch, but yeah. Then again, it's unfortunate, it's a motion sensor, a super old one from my personal warehouse. I still got it. So it's a motion sensor and the new ones are presence sensors. Otherwise, again, I could click through the 10 presence sensors I find in the house here. And then I watch and see, okay, this one is blinking. I'm with the laptop in the living room, click through the first one, the second one, no. That's the one. And then I say, boom, and then I go into the living room and then I assign it and that's it. So let me go into the living room again. Then I just take the couch's temperature sensor just for you to show. Then it's super awesome because I can then see in the living room now the temperature of 20 degrees. It says the window is open because I don't have the digital input yet connected to it because a closed window means signal, which I don't have physically over there. And what's even better is if I just replace devices, like I go through it, clicky click or blinky blink, and then I say, okay, I'm in the room, living room, boom, 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 boom. That's the one, replace, that's the one, replace. For the spots, it's the same thing. They start to blink and stuff, then boom, 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 boom. You just replace. It's not difficult at this what we just did, right? We planned it, we said how many square meters, how many windows, how many stuff, blah, blah, blah. Project planning, buy the stuff, install it, go there, connect, replace. Setting up a Loxone project in this way is super easy. And if I then go into the scenes and I go there, the crazy stuff is that this now really turns on the light in the, how can I show you? You see over there in the stuff? I can now change the colors. You see this? So I'm like this. And it changes. So just to make sure you understand what this really means, is after replacing all the devices and saving in the miniserver, then you have a working basic configuration. And basic is like, yeah, there is auto shading, there is alarm, there's presence simulations, there's lots of cool logic already programmed. And if you're as crazy as I am, then you just maybe do some nice adaptations. But I always let the customer live in the project for a few weeks in the standard configuration. They tell me, yeah, I have a list of stuff. I want to do this. And then I say, okay, let's see. Try it out as it is. Then you have time to move in, get all your stuff out, experience how Loxone intended it to work with the scenes, with the presence sensors and all this stuff, with the automatic shading. And after this, if you still feel that you need to do some changes, that you need to have every light on every corner of the Loxone push button, crazy stuff, we can do it, but try it out first. And then most of the times, the very long list the customers had in the beginning becomes super short. And then we do a little fine tuning at the end. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in constant, new, cool content, I give my best to deliver to earn your subscription and your likes. See you in the next one.